Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome to episode number 241 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. For the last several years, I came to an important realization that has fundamentally changed my everyday experience for the better. And it was the realization that my deepest goals are not to be an empire-building, full-time entrepreneur, nor was it to be a high-powered corporate leader. Instead, my deepest goal is to have a quality of life that feels internally free, that feels like I am fully expressing myself, I am financially secure, having deep impact, and I feel emotionally alive. And this is why today's podcast on what would it take to become work optional is going to help you consider how letting go of work and seeing it as a choice can actually change your life. And it sounds a bit cliche, but it did take letting go of the work identities that I was trying so hard to fit into to become the most successful I have been at both my corporate work and in my entrepreneurial work. I had struggled since I started coaching, thinking I needed to leave corporate to become a full-time entrepreneur so that I would be happy and successful, or vice versa, to commit to the corporate track more fully so that I can really achieve and get promoted to the highest levels there. But all along the way, something was holding me back from going down only one of these routes fully. And that something was thinking that my happiness would be found in a single path alone. I knew through the wake-up calls, the deaths, the exhaustion, the burnout, that whether it was to be in an ashram somewhere on a mountaintop, disconnected from the world, or whether I was in the world, feeling stuck on a hamster wheel, none of that was the solution. Neither being a spiritual hermit, an entrepreneur, nor all of the corporate identities that I've had were the solution, because each one of them was asking and making one version of an identity better than the other, as if the solution was in the work or not doing the work. And I knew I couldn't escape burnout through another job alone, which is why I realized I had to figure it out while I was still working. I would still have to answer questions that I had inside about what it takes to be successful and if I've done enough on the day-to-day, even if I was meditating all day or working all day or with my kids all day. And I know this because I've tried all of these things. I've thought about all these things, and I've realized that we take ourselves everywhere we go. So it's the same questions. Have I done enough? Am I spending enough time with work, with kids, with my health, with my partner? All of those things still can exist. And so for me, specifically now, the future is less about leaving the professional world of corporate or leaving entrepreneurial work or fully committing to one or the other, but more about becoming a new model of leadership inside these worlds and then also beyond it. To not have work be my identity. And I was in high school when I remember asking my mom, why do we work if money doesn't really matter? I was thinking through the process of becoming someone who worked, knowing that that was going to be an end state at some point, and was wrestling with this idea of how we work for money because I was also considering all these very spiritual principles about how money doesn't buy happiness and how we're so much more than these tangible things. And I remember her replying was just so simple and straightforward. And it was because we need money in this world that we live in. And while that helped me rationalize the way that I was spending my time, one of the main reasons I'm so passionate about this work is because we spend so much time working and because we want to know if it really matters. And these questions, these deeper questions of, is this it? They never go away because they are meant for us to answer them. I spent my mid 30s, early 40s answering those questions, figuring out my gifting, my calling. The love to be remembered is how I think about my calling, and how to make a good living, and also how do I live with more health in my life and with more fun and adventures and travel and joy and all these good things too. And once I figured out what my gifts were and how to make a living with those gifts in more than one way, I started helping others do the same. I made real changes to how I worked and what I worked on. It wasn't just thinking about it. I literally created multiple options for future happiness, whether it was job opportunities, work that I did in the corporate world, coaching work, as well as really digging into the relationships I had with me, myself, the people around me, my health, my spirituality. And I started seeing how work was a choice, especially when I really, really wanted to quit. And I focused much less over time on the tangible deliverables at work and more on spirituality, more on meaning, purpose, how I could help other people, how I could contribute, what was the most helpful thing in each moment. And as a result of focusing less on the grind and the have to get this and I have to respond and I have to do all these things, I started seeing it as a choice. Work became this option. And I stopped feeling like I wanted to quit my job. I started feeling like I enjoyed my work again. The Sunday scaries disappeared. My corporate training and development work that I had pivoted into was thriving. I was getting the highest performance ratings. My coaching business also became consistent, stable, with clients that were getting real results over and over and over again. And I have now multiple income streams. I care immensely about the work that I do and the impact that it has. And I spend my time on what I feel is my calling without feeling that it is coming at a cost to my health or my family. And I feel financially secure. I feel safe. And this work optionality, this is what it looks like in this fullest kaleidoscopic technicolor paradox. Having the option of work and feeling like work is a choice, choosing work actually creates better outcomes. And this is why work optionality is so important. It's not just about why we're doing what we're doing, nor is it just about the amount of money that we need to never work again. Instead, this is really about how much freedom we feel around our work and all of the things combined, including the material resources we want to have and the feeling of optionality, of having other things we know we can do. Do we feel like we have financial safety? Do you feel like you have choices and options? Do you feel a sense of agency? So what would it take for you to become work optional is the question that has a real answer. In this month of June, we're going to dive into a work optional challenge where we're going to help you create more freedom, more clarity, more optionality in the way that you work and live. And this is in Spiritual Achiever Coaching. So if you've been thinking about joining coaching, now is the time. I have been coaching on this topic for years, but we've never done a full-on sprint-like challenge to create it in a month. And I've heard many of you asking me to help you accelerate this process of figuring out what's next, to build a personal brand, to not be so tied to one place, organization, job, and person, so that you can have options. It is perfect for this grounded Taurus new moon energy that we are in. So what are we actually doing? So week 1, we'll come up with the freedom number and get clear on financial security and what you need. Week 2, we'll identify your dream work and we'll get super specific. Week 3, we'll create the options so that you commit to it and actually do the thing, whether it's to create an offer or a side hustle or many other options. And then week 4 will be your 90-day plan moving forward, so you know exactly what needs to be done next. So this is your time to listen to that intuitive nudge and do something with it. If you've been feeling like this isn't it, or I know this isn't it forever, and you want to get more freedom, you want to know what work optional looks like for you, you want to have lots of interesting, fun choices and many paths to success, this is your chance. So if you join Spiritual Achiever Coaching now, you can join the challenge in June, and then you'll have access to join us in this work that we're going to do all month. So this isn't about quitting your job right now. This is about creating options, freedom, and doing better than you've ever done in your work in the process. So Spiritual Achiever Coaching is my year-long transformational coaching experience for professionals who want clarity, they want capacity, they want to be coached at the highest level. So you can learn more, or you can start a conversation with me at www.mayemson.com/contact. I cannot wait for this month to begin. You're going to really feel a sense of freedom, of progress, of knowing options. And this is the work that we do to be able to have a life beyond your wildest imaginations. Because what you will start to see from this process is that all of these things are the reason why you're listening to this podcast right now. All of these thoughts, all of these nudges, all of these ideas, all of these what ifs are why you are here. And so we're going to take that energy and those thoughts, and we're going to actually come up with an answer to them. So I can't wait for you to join. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, you can reach out at www.mayemson.com/contact for more. That's it for this week, my friends. I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing one. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.